The 26-mile McKenzie River Trail is one of Oregon's most beautiful places. Since it's so long, some people backpack or mountain bike it. We prefer day hiking, so we booked a campsite at one of the campgrounds that's right along the trail and hiked sections of the trail over a 3-day weekend. In today's video, we'll share our 3-day McKenzie River Trail itinerary as a sample to help you think about planning your own trip. If you enjoyed this video, remember to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. First, for the campground. There are many campgrounds in the McKenzie River area, as you can see from the map here. We stayed at the one that's circled, Ice Cap Campground. The really cool thing about Ice Cap Campground is that the campsites are huge and well spaced from each other, so you really feel like you're out in the forest. We stayed at campsite number 15, and the picnic table and tent spots were pushed way back from the parking, as you can see here. It was really quiet despite camping on Memorial Day weekend, but that could be related to the weather. It rained on and off all throughout the weekend and was probably in the 50s. We were very glad to have some hot soup.
I think we're both pretty hungry.
So, now for the itinerary. On day 1, we drove down from Portland in the morning. It's about a 3-hour drive. In the afternoon, we hiked right from our campsite at Ice Cap Campground and did a 9-mile loop hike that included Koosah and Koosah Falls, as well as Clear Lake, a lake that harbors a 3,000-year-old preserved forest below its surface. Here are the highlights from this section of the McKenzie River Trail. It's a really spectacular section that makes up most of the upper portion of the trail. The northern terminus is just a little beyond Clear Lake. We've made a whole video about hiking this section, so for more detail, check it out at the link that appears in the upper right corner. On day 2, we first took a car ride to explore Little Nash Crater, the source of the eruption that formed Clear Lake 3,000 years ago. After Little Nash Crater, we hiked another section of the McKenzie River Trail, this time to the legendary Blue Pool. We also have a whole video on the hike to the Blue Pool, so to learn more about this day hike, click the link in the upper right corner. On day 3, which was our last day, we drove a few miles downstream to Deer Creek Road, where we first explored a natural hot spring that's sometimes referred to as Deer Creek Hot Spring and sometimes Bigelow Hot Spring, before hiking a few miles through old-growth forest along the lower section of the McKenzie River Trail. The hot spring is right alongside the river. My brother is actually standing in it in this photo, but it's hard to tell because the river is so high. When the water level is this high, the hot spring gets flooded out by the river and it's too cold to be comfortable. Of course, my brother tried it out anyway.
I hear water coming in from somewhere, so I thought we'd be able to feel the warm water underwater somewhere, but I couldn't feel it. But there is a distinct sulfur smell as you go further back.
After checking out the hot spring, we hiked a few miles downstream to experience the lower McKenzie River Trail. This part of the trail passes through beautiful mossy forest with the occasional massive old-growth tree. It doesn't have the landmark waterfalls, lake, and pools of the upper trail, but it has a great deal of peace. We saw other people only occasionally on the lower trail. The crowds tend to focus on the upper trail sites. We did our hike as an out and back, but another option is to do a one-way hike. There are official shuttles you can look into, or you can coordinate with friends to leave one car at each end of your hike. The advantage of this approach is that you get to hike more miles in one direction to experience more of the trail. Whichever way you decide to experience the McKenzie River Trail, I hope you're able to visit this beautiful place. Thanks for joining us at the McKenzie River. See you next time.